Hey everyone. If you've been around in the layout list community or have been a close friend of mine, you probably understand that this is a pretty significant accomplishment for me. To those that don't know me, or are wondering what just happened between me and this level, my name is Hydraniac, known most commonly as Hydra across the servers and communities that I'm involved in. Around mid-2022, I had jumped from 9 circles to Sakupin Hell as the new hardest, and my first extreme demon. This level would be my hardest for over 2 years. Late 2023, I'd come to find this small community known as the Layout List. A list that ranks the hardest layouts, but more so focuses on the overall quality of the levels before actually placing them. The layout list had many standards, and one of those standards is that there was a set difficulty cap for how hard any layout submitted could be. Back then, the difficulty cap was strictly set at Spectrum Cyclone, a level that was also list-worthy at the time. Later into 2023 and entering 2024, I was asked by my very good friend Tangy to help playtest an upcoming top 1 for the list. This was a very enticing offer to me, because the list at this point had become something I was really interested in, and being able to be a part of the creation of the next top 1 for it sounded like an incredibly cool idea. And thus, my journey with Achelous had finally begun. I played through the level quite a bit, achieving the level in about 5 runs and making my own changes to it. However, whenever I had sent my copy up to Riley, the host of Achelous, she had claims that I had made the ships in the level way too easy, and thus, they were reverted to the original state. This sort of upsetted me, because I thought the ships being that difficult would make a level a lot worse overall, but I understood her reasoning, and she wanted the level to be strictly a top 1, and the version I had sent her was arguably easier than the current top 1 at the time. I played the level a bit more in the state that Riley had it in before Keisha, the verifier of Achelous, had begun to play the level. This had caused me to get really good at playing Achelous, as once it had been verified by Acacia, I was considering going for it as my new hardest, as I had been stuck with Sakupin Hell as my hardest for well over a year at this point. I played the level a lot once the level had finally came out, and had been placed at number 1 on the layout list, just barely making the difficulty cap, and I had begun to rack up significant progress really quickly for how much harder the level was than my hardest at the time. I had a very strict and demanding goal in my mind whenever playing Achelous: to get first victor. I never directly told anyone about how much I wanted to get first victor, but it was dead set on my mind, as if I had gotten first victor, I'd become a much more significant figure than what I was at the time. However, first victor wouldn't just be handed to me, as there were others who also wanted to fight for the title of first victor of Achelous. One of those people, among a few, was a now current friend of mine, known as Robotic. Robotic was a way better player than I was, with his hardest at the time being Cognition, a level considerably more difficult than even Achelous. Once I had seen that Robotic had begun to make progress on Achelous, I had begun to stress. Again though, I didn't want people knowing how much it truly affected me, so I stayed put about it. Surprisingly, I had a comfortable lead against Robotic, consistently getting better runs and better progress from 0% than him. However, with the stress that had been lingering on my back ever since he started getting progress, the level began to show its true colors. I'd begun playing the level for sessions longer than I'd ever played a level consistently for, with some sessions even reaching close to 6 hours long. Playing Achelous was already becoming mentally draining, and I hadn't even gotten close to how much the level would actually mess with me. After about a month of playing Achelous consistently, I'd gotten the death that started it all.
No. No. No.
96%. This death absolutely crushed me. I was so close to beating the level. The only thing I had to do after the part I died to were 2 timings and a UFO dash orb spam. Shortly after this fail, I saw that Robotic had gotten 93%, and this, on top of my 96% fail, demotivated me so much that I practically gave up the fight for first victor and let him have it.
I beat Thinking Space.
Wait.
What?
He
Wait,
beat
no
it.
way.
He beat it.
Wait, he actually
he beat it.
He just beat it.
But the fight wasn't over just yet. I'd continue to play the level a bit more actively once Robotic had gotten First Victor. I was saddened by not getting First Victor, as I had let down quite a few people who were supportive of my journey to beating the level, but the pressure of First Victor race being freed from me had been removed, and that helped me lock in just a little bit more. But I did not lock in enough. After this, I had proceeded to die to 96% 2 more times, and the death that was the true nail in the coffin for a really long time. %97%. By that point, I had had at least over 20 deaths to Tangy's part, the final part of Achelous, and my motivation for beating the level had been pulverized into nothing. I dropped the level for a really long time after this fail, and swore to never touch it again. I went on to beat Ethereal Artifice as my next hardest a few months later, finally ending the 2-year streak of having Hell as my hardest. Then after that, I had beaten Wasseretta, and then after that, I had beaten Ghoul, a level arguably around the same difficulty as Achelous. With that, it seems like my story with Achelous had been concluded. But it didn't end there. Secretly, I'd often pick up Achelous just to see how it was to play ever so often, sometimes getting some pretty decent runs, but nothing even close to actually beating the level. Every time I played it, it was just as agonizing to play through as I remembered it being. I figured that it was for the better that I didn't pick it up again. But deep within, it really ate at me that I spent so much effort into one level and never actually beat it, and I just wanted to end the pain it caused me. And so, at the beginning of 2026, 2 whole years after I had begun my journey with this level, I decided I was going to put the level to rest. I powered through 2 grueling sessions with the level, proceeding to die to Tangy's part many more times, and then I finally pulled through. Well, kind of. You see, I had beaten the level, but while doing the final UFO spam at the very end of the level, I had accidentally fat-fingered my no-clip keybind, which would be counted as an illegitimate completion by many, even though I didn't die once. I announced this fail to many of my friends, and most had said that I should just stick with that and count it as my completion. But that didn't sit right with me. I wanted a completion that could truly, undoubtedly, be counted as a true 100% completion. And so, in the same session, I forced myself at the level more and more, until finally, it had been done. And with that, I present to you
What happened to
That's how you fucking do it. That's how you fucking do it. That's how you fucking do it. That's how you do it. That's how you fucking 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 do it. That's how you do it.
What?
That's how you play this level in my. That's how you play this level. That's how you beat this level.